How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another tying session, Naked Line BC. Put up a story on my Instagram, see what you guys want to see me tie. It's pretty unanimous, surprisingly. You all want to see the J.LO Chironomid, so thought I'd deliver here. J.LO Chironomid is one of the first Chironomid patterns I came up with, and not only does it look good, it fishes good, so I think naturally a lot of you took interest in that, and I mean, well, and it's also important, obviously, it fishes well, so I can assure you that. I fish all the time, extensively after I made it, and couldn't be any happier. So, anyways, we'll tie it up. Materials I'm using are a size 12 Ahrex Sedge FW 531. Size 12 just so you can see it easier. My thread is, for the OG pattern, is UTC 70 Burnt Orange. I've tried Textreme Floral Orange, Textreme Floral Hot Orange, Textreme Rusty Brown, and it works, but this is the OG pattern, like I said, so we'll stick with it. Rib body material, the first rib is copper hollow tinsel. I think I got this from Togens a few years back. Chirony skin, they call it, I believe. Kind of a coppery. It's really nice. It's different from the UTC hollow tinsel, so I stick with this stuff. The other rib wire is UTC extra small black. You all know what that is. Your choice ASB. I'm using 210 fab and 0.75. You can use 1 mil even if you want. 1 mil is good for building bodies depending on hook size, less wraps, adds to less bulk, so it's easier to wrap your body with quickly and efficiently. Gills, Unistretch, you can use Antron yarn, your choice. So let's get started. Tan the gills, I do a few wraps, snip off the excess, grab your stretch, and tie it in. I like to pull it away from my hook eye so it doesn't interfere when I'm tying my tippet through the hole. Quick whip finish. Snug it up, snip off, bring up your bead. I like to line my scissors up with the hook eye, kind of on a 35-degree angle, and snip off. I don't like to get too carried away with my gills. Chironomids don't have crazy gills. They're all pretty much the same length. I used to tie them long. I don't anymore. But whatever you want. So I'll start my burnt orange down the hook shank. Kind of measure for my taper, roughly 3 beads. Bring it back up. That's how I achieve my taper a lot. People ask me how I do my taper, and I think most of you have similar methods. I like to measure my beads out depending on the size, and then go down once, twice, sometimes 3 times depending on the hook size. On the bigger hooks, 3 sizes. On 16s, I would say twice, depending on how many materials too. Really all depends, just to achieve that taper without the bulk. So just slip my wire into the bead if it wants to cooperate. And then I'll go down 1 bead roughly, up, down 2 beads roughly, up, down 3 beads, and back up. So we start to get a little bit of a nice taper there. Now all the way down the hook shank. And then I'll stop kind of with the barb, keep them consistent. ASB, ASB, where may you be? Okay, first I'll tie in my Togens Chirony skin, because that's going to be in opposite order that I wrap up my body. So I don't get a fat butt, I'll tie one wrap. I know you're probably thinking, well, it's going to fall out. Oh, no, it's not. It gets wrapped up quite a bit after that. So this is my way of tying it without less bulk. See what I did there before I keep going? Keep flapping my gums is I cut that on a 45-degree angle. That's my ASB, so I'll capture just the tip of that ASB. And it's actually easier to tie in that way. See how easy that is? Slam it against my thread and give it some tension when you tie it in too, because that's going to keep it laying flat. And then we wind back up the body. I mean, look at that taper already taking formation. It's pretty nice. Pretty happy with that. So we'll go back up. I don't want to build any more of the thorax up because we're going to have to tie in the remainder of these materials when we go up. And again, it does bulk. It just adds bulk. So here's my SB first. What you want to do is I'll take it, and I'm doing this slower just so you can break it down. Kind of like Degeneration X, if you're a 90s kid, is I'll pull a little bit of tension on my SB, so that will eliminate any of that fat booty stuff you see out there. I used to have that problem, so that's why I mention it. So then I'll give it a little tension, I'll wrap, don't overlap, go side by side. Don't let anything bleed through, but go side by side just to keep it nice and uniform and the body with less bulk. So I'll speed it up a little here and get that going up to the top. Once you have your top, give it a little wiggle, get it nice and snug. 1, 2, wraps. Front, 1, 2, behind. Take my trusty knife I showed you last time and snip that ASB out. Okay, so the remainder of this, you can either tie or wrap the wire up the ASB body first, or you can choose to wrap the Togens Chirony skin first. It's your choice. I used to do it one way and now I do it the other because simplicity reasons. And that being said, I do the wire first. I'll just take my Chirony skin and I'll tuck that away, out of my way. Now I'm counter wrapping with my ASB. Like so. Couple of wraps in front of your wire. Couple of wraps behind your wire. The reason I'm not doing more wraps on my materials is because there's so many materials we're adding on this one. So essentially we're tying in these materials every time we bring a material up to the top of the thorax. So it's, I mean, typical chironomids do 3 wraps front and back. And this one I like to do 2 to eliminate the bulk. Otherwise it looks kind of unproportioned. So it's kind of way of cheating, I know. But at the end of the day, you're getting a chironomid with a nice taper, a nice thorax, and you're locking it in still with all these materials and wraps, and glue or resin your choice, so it doesn't matter. So now I'll take my Chirony skin and I'll wrap underneath my wire. The trick for this, I've noticed, I think you've probably seen Stanton Jack actually do this. I think this is where I picked up a long time ago, is he'll take his rotary feature on his vise and he'll move it back and forth as you're wrapping. So I got a clear view on my side right now of my rib lining up with my wire, like right against it. And I'm holding tension on my tinsel, Chirony skin for that matter. And when I get to that point that I want to see the other side line up with my wire, I just rotate it and bring my Chirony skin over again. And then just the same tilt feature, back and forth, slowly lining it up. Be careful not to really crank on it. Like, you can, but if you do, you're actually going to move the wire. So we can always go back and play with our wire with like a bodkin or something, but just forewarning you, because I've made these mistakes in the past. So all the way to the top, once I get that situated, I'll tie it off. Again, couple wraps front, couple wraps behind, and then you can chop it out. Last but not least, your trusty whip. So you see I did 3 to finish. Give it a pull. Scissors nice and close. Cut that out. And there you have it. The J.LO Chironomid. So now, your choice of dressing the fly. On this one, again, to eliminate bulk, I'm going to use, just to give it a little extra pop, some Raidzap Super Thin. This stuff is wicked awesome for resin. I love it. I wasn't too sure back in the day when I first started using Super Thin. I thought it was like water. However, for chironomids, any shape, any size, you know, it's deadly stuff. A little bodkin action, spread it around. My tip to you is less is more. Spread around with your bodkin. It's easier to add than it is to subtract, even though you can subtract obviously, but I mean, why waste it? So what I do is I make sure the whole fly is dressed, the thread on the thorax, just move it around. Kind of give it a quick rotate, and you can get it to settle, and that looks honestly really good for my perspective here. And then I'll give it a zap with my UV light. Another key that a lot of people don't know is making sure you use the right and correct wavelength of light for your resin, because if not, it'll take a long time to cure and it is a pain in the ass. So generally, I'll count in my head, depending on the viscosity of the resin, anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds. But with super thin, it dries or cures a lot quicker, I've noticed. So I just give it a couple rotations and we're good. That's it. So that is the J.LO Chironomid, and I'm super stoked to share it with you because I'm a big fan of it. It's just a nice looking chironomid. Fishes extremely well. It's got profile, it's got shape, it's got a little bit of flair, but not too eccentric. So please try it out. If you do, tie it up, tag me in it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see you fish it, you know, share it on the community and let me know how it goes for you, because you know, I've been extremely happy with it, and I hope you catch lots of fish too. All right, thanks everyone. Keep sending me DMs and requests for other flies. I'm gonna peg that list off pretty quick here, just so I can keep on rolling with the YouTubes. I love all the positive feedback. It's been great. So I do it for you guys. It's super awesome to get that positivity coming in, and I mean, you guys are all awesome, and that's, like I said again, that's why I do it. So good luck to you, and please try out that chironomid. It smashes. So any lake, anytime, any situation, it's good. I mean, it's deadly. So all right, thanks guys and gals, and see you soon.